Well, so can you tell us something about your initial years?
Yes, so as all of us have seen that the education we take prepares us for the textbook knowledge, but the real world is completely different. And so there
Mhm.
are n number of challenges that all of us face every day.
Okay.
And I believe the challenges are not only for somebody who does a business, but anybody who is entering a career after his education.
Mhm.
So there were numerous challenges, definitely, and you have a choice of either learning everything yourself through your mistakes or learning with the experience of others.
Mhm.
And I was able to do both for myself. So I made a lot of mistakes.
Mhm.
The biggest handicap, as I would want to say, would be with my education and then immediate starting of business. So I've always felt that not working under somebody or not working for a company
Mhm.
or not working in an organization has always been my handicap in the initial years
Mhm.
because it is difficult to understand how people think and it is difficult to comprehend what people want to achieve in life. So,
Mhm.
as a young pass out, you're always looking at life with a different lens.
Mhm.
And then when you interact with people in the real life, it's a range of people and the range of expectations they have.
Correct.
So that has been certainly handicap, and all that's the reason why it was a good learning experience as well.
Okay.
So while being a mechanical engineer, as I came into business, I realized that business is all about numbers also, apart from the product that you make.
Mhm.
So I also did a depth program of finance for non-finance by Dr. Anil Lamba,
Mhm.
and that has helped me a lot to shape up the way I think and act on numbers. So
Okay.
those kind of relevant educations I continue to take.
Mhm.
I then became part of Chrysalis. I have also done a lot of programs through Chrysalis
Okay.
Media.
Okay.
I have done a program in IIM Ahmedabad for entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So learning is still on.
Okay. Good. One interesting thing when I went through your entire profile, and so one interesting thing I have come to know that you have got four co-founders in different businesses. You said that there is one partnership in Karnataka, one in Delhi, I mean Ghaziabad, and one in Pune. So I think along with you, you have four more founders, and another, in fact, noteworthy fact that since the time they have joined with you, they are still continued to be there. And usually in SMEs, that's the problem that partnership does not last long for some reasons. So how did you manage, having and another surprising fact is all four are from different cultures. You have two who are core Maharashtrian, one is North Indian, and one is probably by the name I can say that he might be from Mumbai but settled down in North Karnataka. So how did you cope up with these requirements of running partnership without? I'm not saying that frictions are not there, but how did you manage to cope up with these partnership thing and the reasons behind this successful partnership? Can you tell us something more about that?
Yeah, so the business as I was telling, got into the business, and since 96, 97,
Mhm.
till 2009, I did not have a partner.
Hmm.
So till 2009, the journey was for Link Composites alone. And again, it was two proprietary companies. Then after doing the finance program by Dr. Lamba, I decided to merge all my proprietary companies into a private limited company. So Link Composites was born as a private limited company in 2008.
Mhm.
And the journey till 2009 was a sole journey.
Okay.
In 2009, we decided to branch out into manufacturing of resins for the paint industry.
Mhm.
So it's a separate company called as Indus Manufacturing Private Limited.
Okay.
And incidentally, my two schoolmates are my partners there. So
Mhm.
we have been knowing each other since the fifth standard.
Mhm.
So the basis of trust in that relationship was very deep.
Okay.
Both of them are themselves engineers, and then we wanted to branch out into new fields. So that was a separate private company that started. Then incidentally, when we wanted to take Link Composites All India, so we were facing a typical challenge of language as the biggest barrier, then culture as the second barrier. So while we were very strong in Maharashtra, Goa, Central India, where Hindi, Marathi, English is spoken as a local dialect or language, when we wanted to enter into Karnataka, we were struggling to figure out how we will communicate with the local customers. And incidentally, my partner there, Rohit Kapadia, happens to be a business family based in Karnataka, in Belgaum.
Okay.
And so we partnered with them and we formed a company by the name of Link Composites Karnataka LLP, where my principal Link Composites is the partner there.
Okay.
So we prepared a model to grow all India because the ambition is to reach in each corner of India. And as we all know, India is a very unique country with so many different states, so many different languages, cultures are completely different, people's expectations, behavior, everything is different. So you have to have a local knowledge partner to ensure that the business happens in the local currency, if I have to say so, who understands the local currency, who understands the local nuances of doing business. So the same model we implemented when we moved to Delhi. So we formed our Link Composites Delhi LLP with my partner there, Mohit Sarda, and we have our warehouse in Noida, and we service the Delhi NCR region through that.
Okay.
So this model is an expandable model where we can eventually have partners in each state who would be responsible for the business in that particular state.
Okay.
And to answer your question about how we survive the partnerships, the core of survival is trust between the partners. And I think the trust also happens with the values that we share. So if we know that the other person cannot cross a particular line, the trust is very high because we all subscribe to the same values and culture when we work and take decisions. So that core value concept helps us a lot whenever we face a dilemma or have a different opinion, and that will continue to happen that way.
Okay, but still, still I have some, I would say, I would like to open up more on this particular topic because we business owners usually have many partnerships and we have seen some of the failures also. Like I understand that your Pune partners were your classmates and you were from the same, kind of upbringing and all that stuff. But when we talk about places like North India and also which is North Karnataka, so those two, Kapadia and the other one is Mohita.
Yeah.
So they were known to you right from beginning, or you just happened to know some business acquaintance and
So they were known to me through my business with them or through my business through their companies where they were working earlier.
okay.
So it was not a completely new, introduction to each other.
Okay.
But we had seen each other work in individual capacity. So when you see the person from the other side of the table, you are able to judge the person. So it was more of a few years of seeing the other person work and then getting together to work together.
Okay. So one trust factor you have said, and anything else other than that? Trust is completely intangible, right? म्हणजे आपल्या मराठीमध्ये बोलायचं झालं तर अमूर्त भावना असते ती, which we cannot describe that how much trust we have on each other. There is no unit for that. But apart from trust, do you feel that any specific care is to be taken while having joint ventures or partnership? And that too, in your case, you have started something, reached at some particular level, and then got into some different partnerships. So, can you tell us something? What care is to be taken while finding the partner? While again. Is there any agreement? Is there any written agreement? Is there any exit plan? Something of that sort of thing. If you can tell us something more about it.
Yes, so what we have always done, or I have always believed, is that whatever we say or whatever we believe in, we should be able to write. So if whatever our belief system is there, if we are able to write it down on a piece of paper, I think the belief system and the thought are very clear. Okay, so with all my partners, whatever agreements we are gone into, everything is in black and white. But if the discussion and the transparency around the black and white is so very clear.
Okay.
Then we have never gone back to check the agreement again. So once the agreement is signed, it is signed and locked.
Okay.
But when you are signing it, you can be open and transparent of the mutual expectation.
Mhm.
And I think mutual understanding about giving room for each person to, show his skills.
Okay.
Because all of us are equally passionate. So a passionate person wants to perform and show.
Okay.
So we have to be very clear about what domains we interfere and what domains we don't interfere.
Understood.
And there is the trust element where also plays well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Another thing, when I have gone through again your profile, you are into mainly into distribution. I mean, you have manufacturing, but your core business was distribution, and then you expanded yourself into manufacturing. Whenever, I mean, we have seen many people in distribution business, which is more of cash flow management is of prime importance. I mean, cash flow management is important in all the businesses, but I think it is more important in distribution business. And also, it is also more important to have good amount of inventory, and then a lot of money is locked into inventory. Uh, so, can you tell us something more about how are you managing your cash flow, and how are you managing your inventories also? Because many times otherwise it happens that whatever customer needs is not in stock, and whatever we have, customer don't need. So can you just throw some light on these two aspects of inventory management and cash flow management?
Yeah, so these are the two critical areas for success, as you have rightly said. And I should be open to admit that we don't manage it, we try to manage it, and it's never managed well. So it could be inventory management or cash flow management or anything. So the key component here is it has to be looked upon as a science and an art both ways. Science because you have numbers, you can extrapolate, you can figure out past trends and then try to calculate the future trends. But it's also an art because a lot of times, particularly with cash flow management, it is about understanding which customers you are working with. And that is the art part of the story. So what we have figured out that if the customer is bad or if any person is bad, no matter what good things you do with him, you will always fail. So you partner with a bad person, you sell him material and then you forget it because choosing the right customers, I would say, is the heart of cash flow management for a distribution company. It has to be likewise for inventory management. So you have to be on your toes to understand what products would be required by the change of cycles, by the change of seasons, by customer taste change. So each individual business has got its own metrics around which we know what products will sell at what point in time. Okay, so it's inside the company also that the past experience also helps us, and of course the analytical part also. Okay. For credit management, we have also figured out that emotions should not be brought into business. So a lot of times there are emotional decisions that we take which get us into problems, particularly with cash flow management. So we have a credit control department within our company. We have debtor insurance. We have our banking cycles where we have controls. We have a very important part from our CA also here, where our CA is a partner in our company to the extent of we have a monthly MIS calls. The CA and his firm are really connected with our business. So all my partners with my CA have a monthly MIS calls. Okay. So every month we thoroughly scrutinize the balance sheet, profit and loss statement, cash flow, the key numbers, inventory controls, everything. And the credit goes to my CA, my team members, my accounts team, and my partners to be committed to be on this call and deliverables noted down on minutes of meetings and then check the next month. Okay. So having thorough, transparent control is also equally important. Okay. But it's difficult and we try to manage. Do you have any tool for all these activities? Is there any CRM that you are using, or it's just right now kind of manual follow up and all that? Yeah, so we have been using Microsoft Exapta as our ERP system since 2009. Okay. And it was quite a heavy investment what we had done. So as a distribution company, we had created terminals in our warehouses. So the inventory was in real time, the data books were in real time, and all the business process was done through the ERP. It was unheard of that point in time for a distributor to do that. Rather crazy or foolish for us to do it. But it has helped us a lot in keeping everything on the go and keeping everything at the real time. So there is nothing, there is no lag between the decision and the number. So that has helped us a lot.
Okay.
Now, apart from that, we've also had other tools which can be used and plugged into our working. Of late, we are getting into CRM, and that has been, in fact, quite a late decision for us, but that will eventually help us. So,
Okay. Understood. You said that you have a headcount of 40, right? I mean, is it including your 13
yes,
distribution
yes,
network?
yes. So our warehouses have a two-people team there, and every operation is quite a bit of, I would say, mechanized also. So we have pallet trucks, we have handling equipment there. Our mother warehouse, if I have to call, is in Chakan, which is a 30,000 square feet premises.
Oh,
And so there the people are contractual for the labor job, but our team members are there who manage the business for us.
so this contract part is not part of your team.
Not part. So this is a typical laborious job which you prefer to outsource on.
But you said that you also have manufacturing facility at Chakan. So this 40, does it include that manufacturing?
No. So that's a different thing. So we have two different manufacturing sites in Chakan. One side is the company Indus, as I mentioned, with my two partners there. And there is another company which we own, is called as Marvin Resources Private Limited.
Okay.
There we manufacture glass fiber parts or glass fiber products for a multinational company, and we also have our own products there. So those two manufacturing sites are three-shift operations. So that team is completely different.
Okay.
So if you club all the team members together, we go beyond 100 numbers.
Okay.
But the pure distribution team is 40 people.
Okay. So as a group, if I ask you, like, what is your present top line? I mean, what is the sales turnover right now?
So last financial year, the distribution company did 115 crores.
Okay.
Our Indus manufacturing did about 48 crores.
Oh.
And our third manufacturing company is more of a contractual manufacturing where we don't buy or we don't own the material, we do a part of that business for somebody else. So it's a services business, if you have to call that, but a manufacturing setup. So all the 3, 4, and 5 companies put together, we did about 173 crores last year.
Oh. So I think I must congratulate you because by industry benchmark, with the team of about 100, and even if we add contract people, which might be around another 50 or so, in 150 people, I think turnover, such a good turnover, I think it's a best part of business. That's what I believe. I don't know what your industry benchmarks are, but as far as the industry understanding is concerned, you are doing, I think, fantastic job. Do you know about all these things or?
Yes, so it's a very conscious effort to remain lean in the company. So as a culture of working, I personally advocate people to do more themselves so that we have lesser number of people to employ. So with lesser number of team members, if you're able to do more, each team member ends up getting more rewarded for his efforts, which also means that we really need to have people who want to do something in life and people who will want to put their heart and soul in the job or the business. And I'm really lucky to have all my team members and partners equally passionate to do. So we can do more with less is the way we try to do it. And also we also try to have a very low average age in the company. So we have the energy of youth along with us to deliver.
Okay. The way you are telling all these things, I feel that you have very good HR policies in place. So, can you tell us if something specific you want to tell about human asset management, any specific policies that you deploy to take care of people? Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, so we started a separate HR department within the company about 6 years, 7 years back. So at a point in time where we understood that, talking to everybody individually and addressing their concerns would be difficult for me alone or my partners as well. So when we started HR, we were very thoroughly clear that we really look at HR department or humans as the real resource or the assets in the company. So we don't consider people as our employees. We always call them team members, family members if you want to. And it does not mean that we pamper them. It means that we give the true value of a human being to the other person. We respect the other person for his education and skills that he brings on the game.
Okay.
And everybody contributes in a different way to the game we all play together. So the mutual respect is what I think is the basis on which all our HR policies are designed.
Okay.
Now our HR department is a full-scale, independently run department, so the people there are really competent to do that.
Okay. Great. When I was again in your intro, one thing that caught my attention was that you mentioned that you are investor in venture capital funds and some startups. So what is it all about? And I mean, everyone does equity investment. Every business owner, they have that kind of inclination towards their parking their money. But this was, I think, at least in our fraternity, I have heard this for the first time that you are investor in venture capital funds and also in startups. So what is that idea all about, and why are you doing this? Is it just for, I mean, I know one reason is of course, for better returns and all, but still it's a little different. So can you tell us something more about it?
Yeah, so personally for me, my only biggest hobby since my education has been business. And as we all know that if you can spend time forgetting sleep, food, or any other fears in life, and continue to discuss hours together, that's only business for me. So I always love to spend time people who are into business, people who are skilled in business, people who are trying to start business and everything around business. So it's really a hobby, passion, and that's what I love to do. Now, when I got introduced to this sector, I figured out that these are all young people who are really branching out to do a huge, tremendous impact on the ecosystem that we all operate into. And in the last few years, we have seen that ecosystem of startup is really getting focused in India as well. So there have been companies who have contributed in a big way and made a huge difference to our lives that we live today.
Okay.
Now, talking to such people, understanding how they do their business, understanding how the youth are full of energy and ideas and out of box thinking. So attending these calls, attending the deep dive calls with such people, understanding how they are scaling up, understanding what energies they bring, how diverse thinking they can bring to solve a problem. All that is helping me to a big extent in my own business. So I have started looking at it as again an educational tool where I can also invest my time and money to grow my money, because you learn so many new things there.
Absolutely.
And I have started pursuing this more actively since the COVID times. We got a lot of free time at home. So I have really utilized that time, and it has really kept me on my toes with respect to understanding the latest things in the world around us.
So you have also mentioned that you are helping out budding entrepreneurs, not by, I mean, this investment is one part, but again, sharing knowledge is, I think, one of the best ways to help entrepreneurs to grow their business. So is there any structured format at you, or it just, as and when it comes, you just meet people and help them to grow their businesses?
Yeah, so with this startup particularly, there has been a channel through a company where they have an interface with the startup founder.
Oh,
so you can actually talk to the startup founder. He can reach out to you. He knows your competencies, so he knows that, okay, you can help in this field. Or vice versa, if we are invested into that company, we have the skin in the game. So it is also in our personal interest that the company grows. So you can reach out to the people, and it's more of a voluntary kind of a thing which helps each other. So all of us have learned from others.
Yeah.
Right? It's an obvious cycle of learning and sharing.
I think this is phenomenal work that you are doing. I mean, apart from financial investment, if you are also investing time with them, I think that helps entire society to bring out more and more entrepreneurial, qualities out of people.
पण ते मराठीत आहे जसं हा परमार्थ नाही हा स्वार्थ आहे आणि मग तो स्वार्थातून करणार आहे.
Absolutely. Uh, just last couple of questions from my side, and then we will ask forum to ask questions. But any challenges are you facing right now in business, and what are our future plans? So first, let's talk about your present challenges, which are like we call it as a critical business issue. So are there any critical challenges right now? And then what are future plans?
So I would tell you future plans and then you will understand the challenges why we face them. So the future plans for Link Composites are that we want to be a pan-India distributor. On the number side, we are already among the top 2 or 3 in India. But I think there is room for much more for us to do. So we want to be present in at least 9 or 10 states in India who are the industrial states. I mean, India is a huge country that way, but all the states are not so industrial. So we may not want to have a full-fledged branch in those states right now. But over the next 3 years, we want to be at least present in 9 or 10 states, which should cover, say, about 85-90% of the business potential for composites. Okay. And as I said, that having the local knowledge domain to run the branches there or to run the business there is going to be a challenge for us as we progress from where we are today. Okay. So we are trying to move to more scalable softwares for our business process. It could be CRM, cloud-based solutions so that the database remains with us while the team can be on the field. It can be a more open working culture. So maybe stepping away from day-to-day operations for me is one more challenge where I see that, younger people have much more energy to deliver a far much better performance. And the challenge could be to allow them to do that. So for me, that's a challenge to step back from day-to-day operations and bring my expertise more from the experience that I have and allow the energy from the youth to, drive the business ahead. Correct. And then the challenge of having the right people join our team, having the right people with the diverse local knowledge so that we can, branch out in different states. Correct. And while all this happens, it's a scattered organization. So today we are 40 people spread across 13 locations. So if we are tomorrow going to be 60 people across, say, 20 locations, then having everybody unified in spite of being separated is also a big is going to be a challenge. So absolutely.
This is, your model is completely different. First of all, since I am personally into just manufacturing, I was not aware of these kind of diversified requirements of distribution business. Wonderful. So tell us something now about your association with Chrysalis, and what would you like to say about the contribution of Chrysalis in your shaping of business in last since the time you have joined with MG, sir?
Yeah, so it has been a sea change for me if I have to begin by saying so. My partner Ajay introduced me to Chrysalis. Okay. And I have one more partner, Manoj, who also is a Chrysalian. Oh. Thereafter, I did my LLP program. Then my wife did the LLP program. Then my key team members have done the Life 360 program. Then I did the Ara Samasti program. And it's always a learning, interface whenever we meet MD sir or we attend this program. The community of Chrysalians also is a tremendous learning platform for us, as we have come to your factory with my team members to understand how to operate. Yes. Likewise, it's a beautiful ecosystem that has been created, and the common thread of mutual growth, no postponement in life, and all the core values that we saw at the start of this session is the real learning and growing together. Okay, good.
Uh, so before, just asking forum to ask questions, one just last question. I mean, we have talked about your business model, your business processes, your HR policies, and how you manage your cash flow. But can you tell us something more about your products? Because we have a fraternity of different entrepreneurs. So who knows, there is some prospective suppliers might be listening to you. There are some prospective customers also might be listening to you. So if you can just let us know what is Link Composites product range, where it is used, and who is your like customer segment, and so that people may pick up if they can get associated with you in different form.
So we are in the business of composites, and by the definition, composites is a two dissimilar materials who are physically bonded together but not chemically bonded. When they are together in a bonded form, it's called as composite.
Right.
So we work in glass fiber, we work in polyester resins, we work in carbon fiber. Now these are broader products that I'm talking of. Okay, but composites also involves core materials, mold resolutions. There's a list of, so on the common terminology we call it as fiberglass. If people can connect to that.
Okay.
On the application side, you can say that the most common application, the lowest in the spectrum could be a planter, a dustbin, or a watchman's cabin, which is called as fiberglass cabin.
Understood.
To the high-tech stuff where composites is used in A380 aircraft, windmills, submarines. Formula One car, the entire outer shell is of carbon composite.
Absolutely.
So it's a broad spectrum of applications. So automobiles, transportation, civil industry, chemical industry. So it's a broad application of composites. Commonly it is called as fiberglass, but technically it's composites.
Okay. So is it just again follow-up question on that? Is it all imported material, or you have some indigenous supplier of this raw material that you are using to make the composite? Probably you have some mixing plant, right?
Yes. So it's again an interesting question. So in India, we have most products being made in India now. But we also represent certain companies from US, Europe exclusively for India. So we are their India partner.
Okay.
And on the trust element, what you mentioned, maybe a good example is that pre-COVID, post-COVID, we have seen that our foreign principals have not been able to come to India, or we have not been able to visit trade shows or visit their factories. And during COVID times, people were working from home, and including my suppliers in China. But we have been associated with them for last 15 years, 20 years. So we saw an unprecedented gesture where people were dispatching container loads of material on a single email. No LC transmitted because banking was down. China, Shanghai was down few months back when they had shut down Shanghai. And my supplier from China knew that he can ship out the container from another port, but his banking center is China, so he cannot send the documents through LC to me. So he himself voluntarily opted that this time I'll give you open credit. I'll send the container to you. Once Shanghai opens up, you can get ahead with the remittance. So the trust element, what you mentioned of. So we depend on these suppliers also. And so 85% of our materials that we sell are made in India. And there are few specialty products that we source from abroad. Okay. We also have partnered with an American company. It's a 75-year-old American company. And we are their partner where we make their products in India. Okay. Again, on the trust factor, as I said, without an agreement during the COVID times, without any protocols to be followed, they have been supplying, supporting, and we have been doing nice.
Okay. Great. I have in fact few questions when you spoke about China, but now I will stop because it will be endless series of questions. Let me ask if forum wants to ask some questions. Let us just check up if someone is interested in asking questions. So now the forum is open. You can ask question to Shriram if you have any. You can raise your hands and our facilitator Kedar will unmute you, and probably you can ask question if someone has question.
Rajesh, it's my question. International logistics,
Uh,
it's smoothen like before COVID or still there, Shriram?
Sorry, can you come back again, Anish?
International logistics,
Yes.
you are importing some material, we are facing some challenges now also, or it's smoothen now?
So now the challenges are maybe 10% of what they were immediately after COVID. So, I mean, it's almost normal now, but there are still some challenges left over. The uncertainty is more of a challenge now than the systems.
as the logistic rates have come down.
Yes, rates have started decreasing, and the world is reacting favorably to this phase now.
Right.
And how many verticals you are handling?
For the business applications, you say?
Yes, in business lines.
Yeah, so we have 5 different companies with us. So there are 3 private limited companies and 2 LLP companies together in the group that I mentioned of. And the application verticals are composites, paint industry, glass fiber, as I mentioned of. Then the products that we sell go down into further different verticals like construction industry, chemical industry, transportation, infrastructure, so on and so forth.
Rajesh, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Namaste Shriram, Namaste Rajesh. I am sorry I missed the first half because I was out for a session, just walked in, and I happened to hear your sharing on when you were talking about the China story about the supplier who, in spite of not having the LC, he decided to supply you. तो आपने एक बड़ा अच्छा वो word use किया, the trust factor which is there. So Shriram, can you just highlight as to how this trust was built, because I believe this is such an important part of an enterprise, the trust factor, whether it be the vendor side, the team side, or the customer side. तो कुछ actions ऐसे हैं जो आप बता सकते हो कि हम लोग करें या entrepreneurs ने करने चाहिए to build the trust?
Yes, so thank you, sir. So I first went to China in 2003, and since then I have been importing from China. It was quite an adventure to travel in China in 2003, and then the adventure has, subsided because of systems have come in place. People have started talking in English, but back then it was really a tough call.
Mhm.
The current suppliers whom with I work currently, there are 3 or 4. All of them have been associated with me for last 15 years. So, they have seen me through the thick and thick of business. We meet at exhibitions. They have background checks done 15 years back, and then they know how we perform when we deliver, when we commit, how we follow up with the commitment. And I think, sticking to what we all mutually commit each other is the biggest trust builder between us. So I specifically mentioned China because we can expect this thing from Americans, Europeans, or we cannot expect, but China nobody expects. So in spite of that, this is a gesture, and it's a pure person to person. There's nothing that can stop us from believing the person. So that has really been a unique example that I can share post COVID particularly.
Have you ever been betrayed or you have been taken for a ride because of your trust?
It happens, sir. Yes. So कल आपका सेशन जो था कि we can choose to trust or we can choose not to trust. So I have luckily been following up that same principle that we continue to trust till the time we are sure that we cannot trust. So there are examples when we are taken for a ride, but if, as you rightly said yesterday, if we don't trust, nothing starts. So yes, there have been a few negatives of showing trust as well.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That reflects, the kind of approach you have towards relationships. Thank you so much, Shriram, for sharing.
My pleasure, sir.
So प्रमोद जींना प्रश्न आहे. So Kedar, if you can unmute प्रमोद जी.
हाँ, आवाज येतो है?
हाँ, येतोय.
श्रीराम जी नमस्ते.
नमस्कार.
एक साधा सुद्धा एक प्रश्न होता की सध्याची जी मार्केट सिनियरो आहे त्याच्यामध्ये तुम्ही आता बरंच बाहेरच्या देशांमध्ये काम करता, आपल्या इथे काम करता, तर बरं असं चर्चा आहे की बाहेर बऱ्यापैकी रिसेशन आहे. आपण त्या मनाने भारतात थोडंसं कमी आहे किंवा तसं फारसं जाणवत नाहीये. तर हे कितपत खरं आहे तुमचा अनुभव आणि हे पुढे याच्यामध्ये काय बदल होऊ शकतो?
तर प्रमोदजी, माझा अनुभवापेक्षा मी जे ऐकतो आमच्या सप्लायर्स कडून ते शेअर करू शकतो. तर अमेरिकेतले, युरोप मधले आणि चायनातले सप्लायर्स और तिथल्या कंपनीवाल्यांना डेफिनेटली रिसेशन हे रिअल आहे. आणि दे नो दॅट दे आर इन टू रिसेशनरी फेज अँड दिस कॅन कंटिन्यू फॉर ऍटलीस्ट अ इयर अहेड. आणि रशियाच्या मुळे एनर्जी क्रायसिस युरोपमध्ये जास्ती बिकट होत चाललेला आहे. आणि त्यामुळे त्यांना त्यांच्याही कॉस्ट खूप वाढत चालल्या. पर्टिक्युलरली फ्रान्स, जर्मनी हे खूप बॅडली हिट आहेत असं कळतं. सो इकॉनॉमिस्ट काय सांगतात त्याच्यापेक्षा धंदा करणारा तिथला माणूस, नोकरी करणारा तिथला माणूस काय सांगतोय जास्ती खरं आहे.
बरोबर.
तिथली जी माणसांशी आम्ही इंटरॅक्ट करतो ते सगळं हे सांगतात की द रिसेशन इज रिअल देअर अँड नो दॅट इट विल कंटिन्यू. सो देर इज नो शॉकिंग और सरप्राइजिंग थिंग देअर. आणि आपण तर सगळे हिंदुस्थानात धंदा करतो आहोत, आपल्याला इथली परिस्थिती दिसतीये. तो माझ्या मते सध्या तरी आपल्यापर्यंत ते काही जळ आलेली दिसत नाही आता तरी. आणि वी हॅव टू बिलीव्ह बाय व्हॉट हॅज हॅपन सो फार. पुढे ती येणार नाही असं आता तरी चित्र दिसतेच आहे.
बरं, चालेल. थँक्यू श्रीरामजी.
थँक्यू सर.
Okay, I think till the time someone thinks of this question, मला एक प्रश्न होता श्रीराम. See this composite material and then the end product of composite material. So end product is pretty expensive as I understand. So there must be lot of value addition when we convert raw material to the end product, like the car dashboards or like the your windmill blades and other peripherals of windmills or some aerospace component. Have you ever thought of forward integration? I mean, there is one manufacturing plant I know you have already, but have you thought of getting into product manufacturing? And if yes, what is that? And if not, why not?
So I think you have hit the nail very first the most. So yes, actually, if I have to tell you, I entered my father's business, which was manufacturing of composites. So from the front end, I have come to the back end. And when I came back end to become a distributor, I let go that manufacturing setup. And the real reason is that I always say that I found myself not the correct person to manage the manufacturing setup. I was not comfortable, running around, avoiding laws and taxes and all that privilege system that point in time. The labor laws, the excise, the ESI, DPF, and the sales tax, and so many different things. आणि मी नालायक होतो ते करायला असं सोपं. दॅट इज युअर टू हार्ड. त्याच्यातून मी डिस्ट्रीब्युशन आलो. बट मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग इज द रिअल ज्यूस ॲज यू से. And that's why we are able to in a different form.
Good. So we have one question from Abhishek. Can you unmute Abhishek?
Yes. Hi, am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hi. First of all, thank you very much for sharing this, inspirational story and whatever, like all the experience you have faced until now. So back to the question, so being a young entrepreneur, what is your personal mantra, which you would like to share with the people who want to, maybe just they're thinking in a phase to start their own business. So what is your personal mantra?
So thank you for calling me young.
Yes, I'm calling myself young. So, let's say, me, right? Like maybe in the nearest future, I'm planning to come back to India. And, like if I want to do something there, so this experience will help me a lot.
Yeah, so Abhishek, thanks for that. And I hope that you come back to India from Germany very soon. And so mantra, there is nothing. I think it's all inner voice that tells you and guides you. As we all know, there are going to be hardship. Life is not going to be easy, and it's not for a business person or a person doing job. All of us are professionals. So
So, so life is not easy. So if the inner voice is telling you to do a particular thing, and if you love doing that thing, then that's your career. So it could be in any field, anywhere.
Yes, thank you. And I think so. I will also have some guidance, like, the experts like you. So yeah, that will help a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think there is no question. Then probably I'll ask MG sir to, in his own style, to give us the insights of Shriram's talk. I know you said that you have missed some initial portion of Shriram experience, but whatever you have heard, if you can just sum up, insights out of his talk, that would be great.
I feel I more than the talk. I have my experience of Shriram for the last many years. I think that I can sum up. And I'm sure that talk would have been nothing else but a crux and a summary of all which I have seen him as an entrepreneur the last many years.
Yeah.
What I feel is the clarity. The first is what I like about Shriram, and I have seen in the last few minutes, is the clarity of thoughts which he brings on board. So when it comes to whether it be business, whether it be I've seen him absorbing it and the way he was sharing about his products. वो नहीं तो टेक्निकल प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, composites हैं, क्या करते हैं, but then you asked a very valid question that भाई आप बताओ तो करते क्या हो, ये इसका होता क्या है, and then once he shared that this is where it is used, then we could get a picture of actually what he is doing.
Yeah.
So and I feel that Shriram, you have so much to give to each one of us as entrepreneurs, and especially the ones who are looking up to doing business, especially the distribution side, because you have been able to build such a huge organization for yourself, and this is one part. I don't know if you have shared about your journey of being an investor with I was not there, so I have no idea whether you could share it or not, but maybe in the future I would love you to share this aspect also with all of us. कि आप as an investor, from an entrepreneur now you moved on to becoming an investor, and that's the journey which we could have listened to. But and all of you who are listening to me right now, all 10x members, मुझे लगता है कि ये इतने अच्छे मौके हैं जहां पर हम अपने ही fellow entrepreneurs को सुन रहे हैं, and we are getting clarity on we're listening from the horse's mouth in terms of how they're doing business. तो मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ कि बड़ों को सुनना तो एक है इंस्पिरेशन है, और श्रीराम ने बड़ा अच्छा एक लास्ट लिंक्डइन में एक डाला था मैसेज कि बड़ों को सुन के इंस्पायर तो होते हैं, लेकिन अपने लेवल जब हम एंटरप्रेन्योर सुनते हैं तो हम वी काइंड ऑफ गेट इंस्पायर्ड टू एक्ट, तो एक्शन में हेल्प होता है. तो आई एम श्योर लिसनिंग टू श्रीराम टुडे, lot of us would get into the action mode as far as managing cash flows is concerned, or handling our challenges of execution is concerned. And जैसे मैंने बोला कि सोच श्रीराम की बिल्कुल स्ट्रेट है, तो एग्जीक्यूशन भी बड़ा अच्छा होता होगा in terms of, because that all comes from the mind. So love you Shriram for being here, and love you Rajesh for conducting in such a wonderful way, and I'm sure this 10x fraternity will grow and prosper because of the inputs given by you. So thank you so much, and all the very best to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So we definitely will have Shriram's further extended interview on his role as an investor, but we touched upon that particular subject because it was in his introduction. So that also caught my attention, in fact, that this is something different that Shriram is doing. But we can certainly have more in-depth discussions with him probably in coming session whenever we decide. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Chaliye, thank you so much, and God bless you for taking out your time to share your insights.
Thank you so much. So thank you, Shriram, for as sir said, for sharing your journey and some insights related to the way you have built up the distribution business, and your again role as an investor in venture capital and in startups. So thank you very much. And I now request Harish to conclude and sum up the session.
Thank you, Rajesh sir.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Rajesh and Shriram, both of you. Just want to inform you all TenX members, recordings of previous series, means Sagar Kaushik and Rajesh Maske, it's available on our app. You can go to past event section, and particularly in that event, you will find it recorded link. For Sagar and Rajesh, both are available. And also want to inform you that on 20th October, there is a Diwali night with spouse, evening 7:30 at PYC Gymkhana. It's a 6th floor, and valet parking is available. So don't worry for parking, because that is a crowded place. Go to our app or web and just register. Thank you.
Okay, so are we just closing the session? Any other announcement you want to make, Harish?
No.
Okay.
Yes, we are closing the session.
Okay, right. So thank you very much, Shriram, once again. And the listeners, we will again meet in our fourth session very soon, and Harish and other team will inform us who is the next entrepreneur to listen to. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Yes.
I'll value. Thank you.